Spiritual warfare usually has a way of exposing things in a person's life. So today we're going to talk about 3 things that spiritual warfare will usually expose in a person's walk with Christ. Matthew chapter 27, starting at verse 24 says, "Everyone who hears these words of mine and does them will be like a wise man who built his house on a rock. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house. But it did not fall, because it had been founded on the rock. And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who has built his house on the sand. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it." So when battles come and when spiritual warfare comes, one of the main things it usually exposes is your foundation. And y'all, our foundation is everything. Our foundation is everything. If our foundation is not sure, we're going to be wobbly in the spirit. We're going to be lukewarm in the spirit. We're going to be flip-floppy in the spirit. We're going to be double-minded in the spirit. Our mind is not going to be renewed, but it's going to be double-minded, halfway doing this, halfway doing that, and you can never be consistent in your walk with Christ when your foundation is not sure. And as women of God, we're called to be consistent in our walk with Christ. And so just like it said in the scriptures that we just read, the person who built their house upon the rock, when the things came, the house still stood strong. But the one who built their house upon the sand, the foundation wasn't proper. So the sand was able to just wither away when the storms came, when the wind blew, when things came and beat upon that house. The house could not stand because the foundation gave way. So you want to make sure you have a strong foundation so that when spiritual warfare comes and all these battles come, your foundation doesn't give way. And trust me, I've seen it before where a person's foundation gave way in the midst of spiritual warfare. And it is not a fun thing to see, because my daily hope and my daily prayer is that women of God thrive in their walk with God and that they are able to learn how to overcome spiritual warfare and navigate spiritual warfare properly. And so it's my desire to see people be victors. It's my desire to see people be overcomers and to be those thriving women of God that God has called them to be. And the next thing spiritual warfare can expose is our faith. And faith is what we truly believe. The Bible gives the definition that faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Okay? And so faith is what we truly believe. So whether you truly believe in the things of God and what the word of God says, or you believe in the things of the world and what the world says, faith is what you truly believe. So your faith will truly be exposed, whether it's faith in the things of the world or faith in the things of God. It will be exposed what you are standing upon, what you believe in, what you're placing your trust in. That becomes exposed during spiritual warfare because your actions begin to line up with what you believe when you're experiencing battles and when you're experiencing spiritual warfare. So when we don't have a proper foundation of faith, then we can't even weather and endure a storm. So faith is essential. We have to have faith in order to become a Christian, but also in our walk with Christ, our faith helps us along the way. Our faith should be increasing to help us along the way as well for us to be able to stand. And the third thing spiritual warfare exposes is your spiritual stance. Ephesians chapter 6 verse 13 says, "Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that you would be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand." 1 Corinthians chapter 15 verse 58 says, "Therefore, my beloved brethren, be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as you know that your labor is not in vain." What I love about these scriptures is Ephesians chapter 6 verse 13, it says to take on the whole armor of God, and it tells us why, so that you will be able to stand in the evil day, so that you can stand in the evil day. When you don't have your armor on, you're not able to stand. And when that spiritual warfare comes, it shows what your stance is. Do you have the proper spiritual stance to be able to withstand spiritual warfare, or do you not have the proper spiritual stance to withstand spiritual warfare? And 1 Corinthians chapter 15, I love how it said for us to be steadfast, and unmovable. And all of these things together, our foundation, our faith, and our spiritual stance, they all go hand in hand to help us be steadfast and unmovable. And spiritual warfare without the proper stance can become shaky. And we don't want to have a foundation that is shaky, a foundation that causes us to become double-minded. And if you'd like to learn more about spiritual stance and how to have the proper spiritual stance, feel free to watch this video here. And if you'd like help in your walk with Christ as a woman of God, feel free to connect with me at the link below. My name is Shalayna Janelle, and I help women learn how to thrive in spiritual maturity and learn how to navigate and overcome spiritual warfare. It's such a blessing to have you here today, and I love you all with the love of Christ. But please know that Jesus Christ, He loves you more. Be blessed.